What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction. In this, we have 7 free things in the UK that cost money in the USA. From American in the UK, before we dive in, if you guys happen to enjoy, please don't forget to subscribe, give a video a thumbs up. Let's get right to it.
For the supposed land of the free, there's a lot in the US that isn't free. And maybe that makes sense for a capitalist society, but then I started thinking about my new home, the UK, and I was like, wait, how can the UK make these things free, but the US can't? In fact, I think the only thing I could think of that's free in the US that's not in the UK is refills. In this video, we're talking about 6 things that are free in the UK that aren't free in the USA. And funnily
And also, before we continue, make sure y'all go and follow Girl Gone London's channel. Her channel is absolutely awesome with incredible content, and I will link her channel link as well as this video link down in the description. So y'all make sure y'all go check her out. All right, what things are free in the UK that cost money in the US?
talking about 6 things that are free in the UK that aren't free in the USA. And funnily enough, I think this topic will blow the minds of more Americans than it does Brits. It certainly did for me when I first moved to the UK in 2012. Number 1, the NHS, or healthcare being free
I
at
knew
the
that
point
one was
of
going to be
use.
one.
Perhaps the most iconic example of a public service that is free in the UK but not in the USA is the National Health Service. Established in 1948, the NHS was founded on the principle that healthcare should be free at the point of delivery and funded instead by general taxation. This means that UK residents can visit general practitioners, access hospital care, undergo surgery, receive maternity services, and so much more without ever receiving a bill. I used to work in a setting in the UK that required helping out university students, and I vividly remember an incident where one of them, an American, was having a medical crisis. We immediately went to call for an ambulance, and this person panicked and asked us not to. The reason? They were worried that they couldn't afford it on a student income. While continuing to dial 999, we had to remind them that life is different in the UK and that they wouldn't be charged for an ambulance coming out to attend to their life-threatening situation. Because, in stark contrast, the American healthcare system is primarily private. According to the Kaiser Family Foundation, as of 2023, over 27 million Americans were uninsured and millions more were underinsured. The average annual premium for employer-sponsored family coverage in the US was around $23,000 in 2023. Even these insured individuals typically face co-pays, deductibles, and surprise bills. You can call the ambulance, but you're probably going to have to pay a bill for it. So while you can't breathe, you have to decide, is this really necessary, or should I try and tough it out? And as I've said before on this channel, and the comments will come, I know, the NHS is not actually free because it is paid for by taxation. But it's a much different way of funding the service, and it is free at point of use. As long as you're a citizen or legal resident in the UK with access to public funds, they're not going to look up your tax records before they give you the surgery. And medical bankruptcy is virtually unheard of in the UK, but it's a common issue in the US. A 2019 study published in the American Journal of Public Health found that 66% of US bankruptcies were tied to medical issues, including bills and time lost from work. Now, the next thing on my list is
absolutely freaking bonkers. The fact that 66% of bankruptcies were due to medical reasons. 66%. That's ridiculous. Shout out to the UK for the NHS. That's an absolutely incredible thing to have. Like she said, there are so many millions of uninsured people, me being one of them, over here in the US, because those premiums are just ridiculous. And then for you to still have to pay money on top of that, it's like, come on. And it's such a sad and scary thing to think when your life is legit in danger and you're scared to call the ambulance because of the finances. That is a sad reality to live in. Like,
is free university tuition in Scotland for Scottish students. In Scotland, university education is free for Scottish students who attend public universities in Scotland. The Scottish government covers tuition costs through the Student Awards Agency for Scotland, also known as SAAS. So in an academic year, eligible students paid £0 in tuition fees. Now this does differ within the UK, so this is in sharp contrast to England, where tuition fees can reach around £9,000 per year, but Comparing it to the USA, college tuition is often extortionate across the pond. According to the College Board, the average annual tuition in the US for public 4-year in-state universities was $10,940, and that is cheap. For private institutions, it exceeded $39,400. Additionally, American students graduate with an average debt of around $30,000, which creates long-term financial burdens. This difference between the US and Scotland in particular illustrates how education policy reflects broader social goals. Scotland views higher education as a public good worth investing in, while in the US, it's often treated as a personal investment in a financial commodity. Now let's talk about bank accounts. In the UK, opening and maintaining a basic current account is typically free. Major UK banks such as Barclays, Lloyds, and HSBC offer accounts with no monthly.
I feel like, yeah, the university tuition, for sure, it sucks. As one who went to college, as one who has school debt, it sucks, and it'd be absolutely amazing. Shout out to Scotland, right? If school was paid for through taxes and everything, but no, it comes out of pocket, and then they overcharge it. I feel like so many things in the U.S. are ridiculously priced compared to so many other places in the world, which is an insane thing to think about. But yeah, school debt is humongous here, and it's kind of taking advantage of people.
Monthly maintenance fees. You can set up direct debits, use debit cards, and access ATMs across the country at no cost. And this is very common, and they're easy to find. These aren't some hidden deal that you have to find when they come around. In contrast, many American banks charge monthly service fees on checking accounts unless the customer maintains a minimum balance or sets up direct deposits. So there's all kinds of requirements that you have to fulfill. According to Bankrate's 2023 study on the topic, the average monthly maintenance fee for a non-interest bearing account in the US was $5.14, which amounts to around $60 annually. Overdraft fees in the US also remain steep, with the average fee around $30 per transaction.
Jeez.
While some US banks have started offering no-fee accounts, the industry-wide practice of charging for basic banking services is still very common. In this respect, the UK banking system appears to prioritize accessibility and financial inclusion more consistently. Next up is free prescriptions.
I hated how, in the bank account, when I was setting up my bank accounts, I used to have a checkings and a savings, but they actually charged me monthly to have my savings account, which I was like, what the? But it's literally free monthly for me to have 2 checking accounts. So of course that's what I did. I just made one of my savings, but I didn't understand the logic behind that. It was very, very weird.
Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Prescription charges are another area where some UK residents enjoy a benefit that Americans do not. In Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, all prescriptions are free for residents. This policy was introduced in Wales in 2007, Northern Ireland in 2010, and Scotland in 2011, with the goal of removing barriers to medication adherence and public health. In England, prescriptions are not free, but the cost is fixed and is around £9 per item, although many people are exempt, including children, the elderly, pregnant women, and those with certain chronic conditions. This is unheard of in the US. In contrast, prescription costs in the US are highly variable and often excessive. The Commonwealth Fund reported that in 2022, the US had the highest per capita pharmaceutical spending in the world, with the average person spending over $1,200 per year on prescription drugs. The price of insulin in particular has drawn public outrage. While a vial of insulin costs about £25 in the UK, in the US it can cost up to $300. The UK system reflects a public health approach, while the American
literally sad. As she's listing off these prices, it is. I mean, if it's not blatantly obvious, the US is for sure all about the almighty dollar, and that is all the US cares about, not the people. Because this is sad.
American model is market-driven, with pharmaceutical companies playing a major role in pricing. Now, cultural access is another area where the UK excels in providing free resources. Major national museums in the UK, including the British Museum, the National Gallery, the Natural History Museum, the Museum of Scotland, the list goes on. they offer free general admission. While they may suggest or ask for donations or charge for special exhibitions, the core collections are open to the public at no cost. By contrast, many leading museums in the US charge entrance fees. For example, admission to the Museum of Modern Art in New York is $25. The Field Museum in Chicago charges $30 for adults. While some American museums do have the occasional free days, these are exceptions typically rather than the norm. And last on my list is free access to nature and national parks. The UK's 15 national parks, including the Lake District and Snowdonia, are open to the public free of charge. There may be parking or facility fees, but there's no general admission charge. You can just go in and enjoy the national park. This policy underscores the idea that nature should be freely accessible to everyone.
Which is very
In
nice.
the United States, don't get me wrong, the national park system is vast, it's beautiful, it's worth visiting, but access often comes with a fee. As of 2024, entrance to parks like Yosemite, Yellowstone, and the Grand Canyon costs around $35 per vehicle. You can get an America the Beautiful annual pass to national parks, which costs $80. While these funds help with maintenance and preservation, the cost can discourage frequent visits, particularly for low-income families.
Yeah.
Moreover, privatized concessions within U.S. parks often mean higher costs for food, lodging, and tours, where the UK tends to maintain a more open and less commercialized approach. That brings me to the end of this video. Comment below on anything you found surprising. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, the US is just going to charge for anything that they can charge for. That doesn't surprise me. I've lived here my whole life. I know exactly how it goes. Like, it's all they care about is money here. So that shout out to the UK though. There are a lot of things that are free over there that shows like you guys care more so about people, which is really dope for me. That's all we got. Let me know what you guys think about the comparisons. If you enjoyed, please don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, check out the next. See y'all next time.